some space to leave actual space and time so that we can be here in this space together. First thing we always do, we want to ground. I also need to clean this space. I just feel it. So we're gonna liven this up for us. It's gonna feel a lot better very soon. High vibes on a Friday. That's what we're here for, people. That's what we're here for. Happiness and joy, peace, love, harmony, all the good things in life, always in our focus. There you go. Get some for me too. Yes, yes. I need more. I also have salt that I can add to water, but I don't want to do that right now. Here you go for your space, and for me, dusting off that aura. Yes, getting it fresh. I'll just let that run there until it's all out, and then I can safely put it away. Other things I always carry with me for trip. Oh, let me pull this out. We should use this too. I saw it earlier and then I forgot where it was. And now I found it. Yes, some selenite. I'm brushing my aura. No energy here that is not mine. Thank you very much. All right, we're good. Putting that away too. Selenite and black tourmaline are things I travel with as well. I shared the some smoke with you. We can also always clean the space with sound, movement, even clapping, anything that just kind of breaks up the vibe and what you're hearing. It will bring it to you. Hi, hello, how are you? I made the critical mistake again of forgetting my glasses, so you have to forgive me when I start to look closely. Hi, glad to see that you're here. Thanks for joining. So now that we've kind of grounded and cleansed our space, now we invite in all of the great things that we want to spend time with, be here for. So first of all, I always say, hey everybody, hey, what's the discussion about? We're opening the circle right now. I'm bringing the vibes in for us. We are going to experience that all together, and I love that for us. It's my favorite thing ever. So we also always call in Archangel Michael for his cloak of protection and sword of truth as we walk our path. Archangel Gabriel for wisdom and strength in walking our path and purpose. Archangel Raphael for his healing body, heart, mind, and soul. Thank you so much. I've experienced many miracles there, and that's what I hope to bring to you all as well, that you can be part of this vibration. Last but not least, Archangel Uriel, because of the attachment of our intuition. She's very good at getting us to get connected with our intuition and walk our path and purpose, full of compassion, joy, love, peace. It's just like a really great feeling to anchor this energy into. Thank you so much, Jackie. I love that. I love that for you. What's going on? Same thing that's always going on. We are in this space here that is outside of the third dimension, and so we bring in the energies we want to have in here for the purpose of the benefit of all of us, the planet, our space, our society, our personhood. Everything can always be better. And that's what we're here to do. And I know today is one of those days where I'm already in the 5D, and I think this is one of those opportunities where I just kind of like reach my hand down from the fifth dimension so that people can see it, right? That's my whole purpose, that to show that things can be this easy. Things can be this good. Things can be wonderful. Also, getting over like a fear of being seen because of experiences in the past and even like past lifetimes, and very strongly connected to women's history in apothecary and witch services, stuff like that. I love zombie movies. Seriously, seriously. They're like my favorite. It's so weird. I guess it must be kind of like some kind of weird outlet, but my favorite like genre of films is apocalyptic zombie. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what that means. It probably means I should spend time consuming better things for myself than just that. Right? And I do this too because probably for the last year or so, I've really been called to start creating instead of consuming. And then I had this, like, I don't know, paradoxical realization is that if I'm creating instead of consuming, aren't I just putting more opportunities out there for other people to consume? I don't know. I don't know. And since I am getting, like, a little older, I'm also considering how this medium can outlive you and be shared for a very long time. I'm always trying to think of 7+ generations. Really, I'm always looking to consider, like, what the world would be like and what my family and children and relatives will need, like, as far in the future as I can. For sure. For sure. Yeah. And that's why I'm already, like, kind of, hi, how are you? Getting relatives together in a sense of, like, what resources they have, what their skill set is, things like that, to kind of create in my family, like, some self-reliance and having the needs internally for the really important stuff like healthcare, farming, animal husbandry. Hey, how are you? I am just across the river from New York City in New Jersey. That's where I'm from. I didn't grow up here though. I grew up on the West Coast, the total opposite side, in Oregon. And so, yeah, that's it. Where are you from? I love seeing people from far places here because it just solidifies the knowledge that this space we're creating is outside of the 3D, because regardless of where you are on Earth or not, and it doesn't matter what time it is, either we're live or you're seeing this at another time, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Abdul, hello, how are you? I'm glad you guys came into this space. I grounded it. There have been a lot of people passing through, and I'm always okay with that because, one, this is the purpose, right? Like, to be seen, because this starts others on their path. For sure. One of the things I know that is going to be very impactful lately and that I'm always watching out for is opportunities to help our family, community, neighbors, colleagues, all those kind of things. There's much that we don't have control over necessarily, and there is a lot that we do. And very often we get confused what those two things are, and we get upset and irritated and energy stolen by things that we can't resolve, that one single person couldn't eliminate. We have to combine and go further. Go higher. Higher vibrations. Because the reality is here, the best you can do is care for those around you, make sure they're cared for, make sure they have everything they need. And then on a larger scale, just start talking about how things should be and how we can make them and what would be ideal, right? Like, we're in here sitting in the presence of archangels, which means Jesus is here with us too. We have a direct line to it, right? We have a direct line to it. And so we shouldn't even consider the things that are not truly in our space, because then our energy gets stolen. And to keep the vibes high in here, to keep the angels here, we have to keep the vibe high. That's the other thing. That's my work. People, I mean, even me, it seems like it would be simple and easy. All you got to do is show up and be seen. But at the same time, it's actually been put here for me to overcome several limitational beliefs I have. So, one, thank you all for being here for that and for this journey. And that's kind of what we're here for, right? Path and purpose. And it changes. And it can take you places maybe you don't want to go. And that's fine. They'll wait till you're ready. And then you'll be there. And it will all be everything you wanted it to be. 11:11 on the timer. That's great. So I'm just really here, like, I make this space for me too. I make it for everybody else. I make this space so we can have peace, calm, some serenity, some camaraderie, and that we're kind of all here having the same needs as a human being, as a social person. The same needs being clean food, clean water, clean air, access to health care, a safe place to live, and having heat, electricity, and internet. I think those things are basic human requirements to be able to step out of the survival vibration. Very often we're we're kept there, right? We're kept there by things that we look at, things that we worry about, things that we desire in the future. But where things happen is in the present moment. Where things happen is this 5D space right now. Where things happen is in our minds. It's our imagination. You have to think it, you have to envision it before you can see it. It's like, it's almost like a premonition. And for me, it's gotten a lot, my premonitions and kind of like my intuitions got a lot sharper. Like, I'll be just thinking about someone and then later they'll call, or I'll call them and they'll be like, oh, I was just thinking about you. Like, to me, those are always signs that right place, right time, right? And the belief that everything works out okay. It's totally true. I could say the actual opposite. I could talk about the things that people are hearing that make them feel frustrated, angry, scared, nihilistic. Yeah. But what I'm always trying to grow is the joy, the love, the peace, the harmony, the relaxation that nature provides us in looking at the cycles, right? The cycles of nature, and how nature is infinitely abundant, and the places where it is not are simply places that we don't understand or we have damaged beyond the point of it being in balance currently. Yep. And so what I'm always giving thanks for is those who use their life, their skills, their energy, their vibrancy, their health for the benefit of our society. And there's a lot of people in there. Like, I always give thanks for bus drivers, sanitation workers, crossing guards, like the people that maybe we don't acknowledge that are actually doing things every day to make the world a better place. And there's a lot of people like that. Please, please, please don't get discouraged that there are not good people. There are very, very, very many of us all doing our best every day. And like I said, we all have the same needs, right? Regardless of culture, language, location, time. Like, humans need the same things like plants need the same things. And maybe some things are a little different, plant to plant or person to person, but plants are not going to live without water, at least a little bit, and sunlight. So there are things that we know we need to survive. And for some reason, we bought into the lie that that is something that can be bought. I don't get it. I don't get it. Make it make sense. It doesn't. Other things that don't make sense. Well, we could talk about so many things that don't make sense, but what we should be talking about is what does make sense, what is impactful, and what is like bringing up the energy of the collective, right? So acknowledging those around you that you see that are doing things for everyone every day, and that's how they serve. Like, please, just like, I just give thanks, like, for their health, for their focus, for their security, things that they need to keep going and excelling at the work that they're doing that is so impactful and important for everyone that basically just slips under the radar. And there are many things that I have that are like false beliefs that I'm still uncovering or working to overcome, which is what this space is for as well. Just trying to think of anything else that is very good to share in this little bit of time we have together. Really, I just wanted to stream because I streamed a couple of days ago, and I want to try to be a little more consistent, right? Of holding this space for us. Especially since, like, I love you guys, and I love that you get benefit out of this as well. But to be truthful, I started this in an effort to, make sure I'm meditating every day, dialing in my vibrations so that I'm not so easily swayed by things I might see in my reality versus where I know I exist. Whatever that means. I feel like, all right, I'm committing to this right now. I'm committing to it. That at least once over this weekend, we'll have a longer live of about an hour, hour and a half, something like that, where we can talk more, read tarot cards, cleanse our space, meet some crystal friends, pray for each other, all of the things that we can do that is positively contributing to the world around us. Yeah. There's a lot of things that we do around here that I see. And it has to do with when we started believing we were not a part of nature. When did we start believing that we needed to harness nature or make it look in some kind of way? I don't know, but I'm just reminded of it because there are garden beds throughout the whole town that I'm in, and every spring they dig up whatever's naturally growing there, which is serving a purpose over millennia that maybe we don't recognize or understand, and then we just say, it's a weed, it's not what I want. Clear it all out, lay some bark fertilizer on it, and plant some random annuals. Like, can you please? Reiki healing. That's awesome. That's something that I've kind of like watched definitely works for me, and just been moving like a little more mindfully in certain things, especially with like my own energy or other people sticking to me. So it's like, I don't know, I'm just kind of doing it myself. And I figure that a lot of this stuff is kind of like that too, where it's our intuition that drives us down the path of our purpose. Hetty, thank you. I love you too. Thank you so much for being in here. Yes, so we'll do some fun things together. That will be good. Right? And yeah, I think I'm still, because I've thought about it earlier today and a couple of days ago too, that someone that I felt very connected to in kind of what they were doing in their life and their goal and their path and all of those things. And then recently, I basically heard some kind of switch to like, it's all abundance, it's all this thing, here's how you get all the money that you would ever want. And that's true. I'm cluttered with two thoughts. Yes, I have heard though that that is the discerning mark of someone who can hold two opposing thoughts in their mind at the same time, as someone who is very smart. And also, sometimes the reason there's two things is because the one thing you have in there, you're like, I don't like that. Let me put something else in here. And you put something else in there, and then you have two, and then eventually the one that you feed is the one that lives. So my point with the whole manifesting thing was I thought I was so in tune with this person, and then this happened, and I'm like, if that's all of your like tribe wants to make money and only put efforts towards that, it's already taking away from the truth that everything we need is already here. We do not ever need to just so many things, like new technology coming out, right? It's like every year they come out with a new phone, you have to get it. Like lots of people get it. There's this sense that consuming will fill some void in your life. And it doesn't, and it won't, and you'll constantly be chasing that money. And then sometimes I would say it has to be about intention, right? So if your intention is just to make a lot of money, why do you think you would get that? Why do you think that's important? Why is that something you're striving for? I don't get that. Yes, all you need is love. All you need is peace. All you need is up here. None of it is out here. None of it. I don't get it. Hetty, yes, we're same vibes. So glad you came in here. And sometimes I worry, like what was it, a short or live or someone I was talking to? I think it was the last live where I was like, okay, I'm telling you all these things here that I believe should be resolved, fixed, or is not working as intended. And then I was like, okay, guys, I did the usual disclaimer of I'm not going to run away. I'm not going missing. I'm not going to be like, taken, killed, whatever. And then I was like, why would I even think that would ever happen to me? I am insanely divinely protected to the point where everything I ever want, I get when I do what my purpose is, which is this. Yeah. And I think for a lot of things, it's ourselves getting in our own way. About very many things. So many things. For me too. That's because it's ego, right? It's our ego in there. Our ego is always the one who's like, yeah, but. right? Yeah, 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 you could do that, but here's why you can't. I always feel like you can do anything you want to do. There's something to remember though, and that is if you want to go fast, go by yourself. And if you want to go far, go with others. So there's something that you're looking to overcome. Looks like, oh, we came back. We came back. We came back. Do I have kids? Yes. I have 2 boys. The oldest one just finished his first year in university, and youngest one is finishing up his 3rd year of high school. So these next few years for me is like big change. Big change, right? So in the span of like the next, I'd say 5 years, 6 years, something like that. Gonna go from having 2 kids in the house to having no kids in the house, and both kids out of university, kind of like starting their life. So I think part of my journey during this time is like, how do I want to spend all the extra time I'm going to have very soon? Thank you, Hetty. That's really nice. I appreciate that. And I'll tell you the same thing that I always say when someone gives me a compliment about my appearance, is that in this space, what you are seeing is the like joy and love of God shining through my face, for sure. That, I mean, I just got chills saying it. It's true. It's 100% true. But I thank you for recognizing that, because the fact that you can recognize that means you can see the divine. You can see the divine's work in the world around you, in other people. One of the things, oh, India, awesome. Glad to see you. I always love seeing people from far, far away, because it just solidifies the fact that this space is held from apart from the 3D, because we can share regardless of time or space. Distance apart does not matter. Oh, thanks, Hetty. That's probably not true either. Some is genetics, I know. And the fact where I grew up, it was not very sunny. I think that helped too. And then sunscreen. That, I don't know, that's it. What's happening in India today? Tonight, I should say. Friday night plans. Guys, Friday night plans. So, sorry, I'm just hearing somebody outside. Doesn't matter. Thank you. Thank you for being here in this space. And I'm just so grateful that I can hold this space and make this place for us to kind of just be open and vulnerable without the fear of judgment, because that, right? For a long time, I was very judgmental about myself and other people. And I recognized it. And at first I was like, okay, I'm doing this. How do I resolve this? Because I just keep doing this. And I know that when you want to make a change and you're pulling something out, you need to put something in place. Otherwise, it will just fill up with things that you're maybe not intending. So sometimes I forget what I was talking about, but I feel like very much, yes, I'm in the US. I'm by New York City. I kind of like lose track of the thought, but then I think that maybe it means I wasn't just supposed to say that, because I'm kind of like channeling and just randomly talking in this space. Kind of like when I read tarot cards, I don't really remember, because I'm not, right? It's not me in my thinking mind. It's me as like an antenna, which is also why you can do a lot of energy work and not run out of energy as long as you are channeling in divine energy source. Then you don't pull from your own energy, I guess. You can also pull energy up from the earth. Ooh, yes. Ask permission first, though. The earth is alive, as you can see, by every scrap of soil that is immediately covered over by greenery to protect the organisms in the soil that helps everything grow. We have forgotten, very quickly, mind you, because we all have very short lifetimes, that this wasn't how it always has been. Washington State, nice, Hetty. I grew up in Oregon, so I know. You in the green western half, or eastern brown half? That's like divided, right? Cascade Mountain Range. Like, so we were talking a little bit about things that aren't needed. Why do we need to buy water in plastic? Right? When I was growing up, it was not a thing. It was not a thing. And maybe that's just because we didn't know that all of the plumbing and water supply was not great. But whatever they chose to do now is even worse, because they don't pay for the water, but then they charge you for it. They put it in something that isn't good for you and tell you to drink. 20 miles under Mount Rainier. That is so cool. I actually have family that has some land in Goldendale, Washington. So I know that's like, we can see Mount Rainier from there, but I'm sure it's still pretty far away because it's a very big mountain. Yeah, but that's a really great place to be. That's like one of the few remaining like true dark areas in the US. There's just a few handful of them, and there's one there. That's also why they have like a observatory. I don't know if it's still there, it's been so long, but when I was a kid, we would go up and you could see Saturn and things like that because the sky was so dark and clear. The other thing that's so funny, it's the kind of thing that makes me realize how long I've been alive, right? When I was a kid, we would sit outside in the dark in that area and we would watch the stars. We'd look for constellations. And then every once in a while, there was maybe one that moved across the sky and we're like, oh, is it aliens? And they're like, nah, that's a satellite. And it was like kind of rare to see. You would see a couple a night, not that many. Now, I mean, to be honest, I'm living in a space where I can't regularly see the sky. But in the last year or so, I went out to like Illinois, way out in the country where it was just cornfields, and you could actually see the like arm of the Milky Way galaxy, which was really awesome. And I did notice like more things across the sky, which would make sense because GPS, how's GPS work? Global positioning, satellites. You made a bet at 9 years that water you always could drink from the tap. You lost. Like, it should be, right? It should be clean drinking water, and why isn't it? And I know on our side, in this side of the East Coast, there has been significant manufacturing of chemicals and things like that. And they never really took care of it. A lot of the times they would just sell to someone else. And at that time, there wasn't rules about who had to clean up what. And now we're left with like the most Superfund sites in the US is in New Jersey. And I see them putting housing developments on top of capped fucking Superfund sites. And people, they call it luxury apartments, and people live there. And I'm like, does nobody know? Do they not have to tell? Like, what the hell? It makes no sense. And then later, people will be like, oh, I wonder why there's so many people with cancer here. Oh, because we threw all that stuff in there and we didn't do anything with it. I just don't understand how we keep making cycles of waste, but in nature, nothing is wasted. Why don't we think we have more to learn from nature? I think part of it, actually, I just heard this, part of it is because of our ego, of our fear. We don't want to live in nature where anything could happen and we don't have control over it, right? Like, so we instead decide that we're going to try to control it in an effort to feel safer. That's not how that works. Exactly, Hetty. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff we don't know about. But hey, I totally forgot. This space is not for that. Space has to be higher vibrational energy where we find solutions to these problems, where we connect with people who have the resources and skills needed for us to live in harmony with nature. And that's everything that I try to think about every day. And remember how very, very, very small I am. But how very, very big impacts you can have. Right? I know I've saved people's lives before. Not like restarting their heart or anything like that, but got them to a place where they felt heard and seen and no longer feeling like they needed to leave. And I know beyond those, there's many, many more I'm sure I will never be able to know until, that final day where I can see everything all at once. And I know that's true for everybody who's in here. There's no way that we can know all of the positive impacts we've had on our community, on our friends, our neighbors, our colleagues. And even though we'll never know, it's the thing that's like free and easy. It costs nothing to be kind. It costs nothing to have concern. It costs nothing to help. It costs nothing to give a compliment. That's why they say the best things in life are free. So I'm just trying to check people out of capitalism for sure. For sure. And I try not to think about things that are not up to me to change. I don't have the power to change it. And then think about what I do have the power to do that is positive and then do that. Do I always succeed? No. Because even though Earth Angel's not a title I gave myself, I also know that we're humans, and in the current state of our society in the US, and specifically like where I'm living in like larger metro areas, it is nearly impossible to live within your moral values, right? Like every piece of technology that we have, what we're using right now, exploited workers to get it, right? And they don't get paid. Where's the money go? It's not to the person who's digging it out of the dirt. It's not to the person who's putting it together. Nope. Nope. It goes to the person who says that it's their idea and you can't have it. How about we just don't need it? Woo! All right, I will sign off on that one. Hetty, I hope you have an amazing weekend. Thank you so much for being here. You refuse to be called human. What do you prefer, Hetty? Please tell me. Humanity? I don't know. Too many mans in that word. Tell me what you prefer, Hetty, because I feel like it's something I can like take and use myself too. Thank you so much. Cute. You're not human. You're cute. I love it. Yes. Chibi, right? I love that stuff too. In fact, my general nature is way, way younger than my actual age. So yeah, sometimes it's like kind of awkward because people expect you to act a certain way based on how you look. And meanwhile, I'm just like, so cute about everything. I love we have that in common. All right, you all, I really gotta go. But I will be back sometime in the next like 48 hours or so. We'll see. We'll see. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All the high vibrational energies that were here today. Thank you. Thank you for forgiving us for bringing it down. Thank you for helping us raise it up. Love you guys. You're awesome too, Hetty. See you all later. Bye.